What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
I will be in every episode. You know, it's good to have you back in the office. Last week we couldn't record the pop because you weren't here. I was just like, you know, I had no one to host with at all.
Did you record an episode without me? There's just
Can you imagine?
A total one-sided episode
it's the
of
Lost J episode.
I will say, I need to, yeah, I know,
Well,
right?
welcome to Popcorn Culture, everybody.
How about a corny joke? All right. No, I will say that I actually, like, coming into today's episode, I was like, there's been like a weirdness in the air where, like, I think the office got really used to me not being here, and they're like established like a whole new like Benless dynamic.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then you hosted Project for Awesome.
Yeah.
Right, which apparently it's part of meant that you pranked my desk by
that happened.
googly eyeing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's that. So
Yeah.
like walking in to sit down for the pop today, I was like, something tells me that they like rallied the troops while I was gone.
If anything, I think it is the exact opposite. Because if I am not mistaken, someone signed up for the buttered popcorn tier this month, which is the tier that gives you the additional vote boost. Boost? That right? Yeah, okay, yeah, those are the right words.
Yeah.
I was like, boat boost? No. Okay.
For those of you unaware at home, basically what we have going on is our Patreon is what determines who will be the host week in, week out.
It's up for debate.
Yeah, so we have a variety of tiers at different dollar amounts, but we have one tier at all of those amounts, one for Jay and one for myself. So the Jazzy J tier, the Buzzy B tier, each sign up basically contributes one vote towards who you believe should be the host that week or that month. And at our top tier, you can actually purchase 100 votes.
Yeah.
And this month, apparently somebody signed up for my 100 vote.
Or your 100 vote boost. So I don't know why they felt the need to widen the gap, but they did.
We appreciate
just
you.
to really, really lock in your position.
I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad. Maybe they were expecting a coup.
Maybe they were like, Ben's out of office. I know what's going to happen. Maybe it was you. You're like, I smell shenanigans.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine if it was your birthday or like some event and people were like, oh, we're making it happen. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like we're gonna do this, and it's like I'm like watching all the emails come in and everything. And it's like, no way.
No.
I will not. I will support myself.
Yeah.
And
I will take money out of my personal take home and put it towards this.
Yes. Oh man, what a very disastrous plan.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, it really does go a long way towards everything we do over here at Popcorn Culture. Anyway, how about a corny joke?
Ooh, I'm always up for a corny joke.
I like this one. It comes
All
from
right.
Jake Lamont, who says, "What did the milk say to the Swiss cheese?"
What did the milk say to the Swiss cheese? Something holy, for sure. I don't know. holy, I don't know.
Holy cow, you're solid!
So I was close.
You were very close.
I know how Swiss cheese jokes work.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. If it's gonna be Swiss cheese, it's gonna be holy.
There's a whole joke in there, yeah.
I have to tell you that when reading Deathly Hallows and which Weasley twin George loses his ear?
Fred is dead, so George lost his ear, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fred is dead.
Holy.
Yes. Okay. So I remember reading it for the first time, and he's like making this joke, like this holy, like, you know, whole joke, and it like just goes clean over my head. I have to read it like 15 times, and I'm like, what? Because it's a like a hole?
Because it's a hole in his head.
Yeah.
He's feeling holy, but he's also saying like holy, like angelic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I eventually got
You
there.
got it
but,
now.
But in the beginning, I was like, I don't think this is their best.
Not your
stuff.
best work.
For two characters known for being like the comic relief,
Yeah.
for being able to sling some zingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't their best.
I mean, he comes right out of like shock and being like knocked unconscious, straight into joke based on accepting his new like state of being, which is saying a lot, right?
That's true.
You know,
This is
I don't know if I would be able to like laugh at losing an ear forever so quickly myself.
Although, that being said, I do believe you had a rather hilarious moment where you were coming out of surgery and maybe still under a little bit of like local anesthetics.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh boy.
I believe so. I don't think I was actually there. This is like a story that I think mom and dad love to tell.
Yeah.
It's like one of their all-time faves. So
Yes.
anyway, we've talked in past episodes of the Pop about how Jay and I both had a surgery to correct like a cavity that we had in our chest, and it basically was like a bar that helped like lift it out. And it was pretty substantial surgery that we had to go under, which means that you're completely under, you're doing like the whole thing, you wake up, you feel like an elephant standing on top of you.
Yeah.
And you're a little bit loopy and hilarious.
Yeah, you were quite a bit loopy for sure.
Okay, so what exactly happened here? Somebody asked you a question.
So I'm just sort of like waking up from the anesthesia, and like they're asking you basic questions to test whether you're like coherent or not. So basically, I end up failing the test. Basically, is what's happening.
Excellent.
Excellent. It's like that's what they're doing. But the question they asked me was, "What's your name?" But what I heard them say was, "Where's your penguin?" And so I'm just sitting there in the bed, and everyone else in the room heard them say, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "I don't have a penguin." And they ask it to me several times, and it sounds the same every single time.
So you
I'm
keep
just keeping like, I don't have any penguins.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have penguins.
I don't have any penguins. And now I feel like for a while penguins were like an inside running joke.
Yeah, for sure they were.
You had some like a stuffed penguin.
Yeah.
I think somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere along the way. I don't know. Penguins. I mean, penguins are pretty cool.
They
no
are.
doubt.
They are remarkably cool critters. Maybe we could bring back the fun fact about coyotes, except it'll be fun fact about penguins.
Fun facts about penguins.
Don't they not have knees? Penguins
I
don't
think that's
have,
true.
Penguins don't have knees.
Yeah.
So fun fact about penguins.
They don't have knees. I think there is also a hockey team for the Penguins.
You're kidding me right
No,
now.
I think it's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I feel like I'm being plum joshed.
Plum job. I'm not joshing you, man.
Okay. So now we've been able to. This is probably what will happen. We'll have to get a good list going of all the NHL teams that have an animal mascot.
Yeah.
Of which there are no doubt fun facts.
Yeah.
Do you think that if there were aliens that showed up and found the human species, that there would be fun facts about humans?
Oh man!
Like are there things that
fun facts about humans?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like I've actually thought. So you were just literally imitating Zay Frank.
Correct.
And for anybody listening at home who doesn't know, a lot of people attribute the like modern vlog format to Zay Frank.
Yeah, he like invented it, if you will.
He was sort of like the person who did that. And Zay over the years has done a variety of things. I think possibly with BuzzFeed.
I think I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he's like the vice president of BuzzFeed at the moment.
Okay. Anyway, but at some point in time, he did this series called True Facts.
I think he's still doing it.
Is he still doing True
Yeah.
Facts? Okay. I always think about the true facts about the praying mantis.
Yes.
And where am I going with this? Oh, yeah. Okay. So early on, though, you did a video, like, because we were still kind of going like through the grab bag of ideas, and you made one called True Facts about Zay Frank.
That I did.
It is a hilarious video.
Oh, thank you.
For one. But like it was one of these like very early success moments that we had as a YouTube channel, because Zay actually commented on the video.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, the way the YouTube homepage worked was if you were subscribed to like a creator, then if they commented on something, then it almost showed up on the YouTube homepage as like in a much more like Facebook timeline type of way.
Like Zay Frank commented on this video.
Right. And so like all of a sudden we had like a ton of people showing up because they were Zay Frank subscribers that were now like watching this particular video.
Right.
Anyway, so I loved the concept that Zay did, where he would go through and make these videos basically talking about really wacky, weird facts about various creatures. And they always sort of have like a humor element somewhere injected into them, where like the narrator, it's kind of like watching Planet Earth, but if somewhere along the way David Attenborough was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, like he's not narrating over it; he's watching it in real time.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
it's like he's been told like what to say, but then like as it gets there, like he the narrator is also shocked by what happened.
Yeah. It's also like has a very unusual way of pronouncing lots of different things throughout the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But at the time though, after you made that video, I was like, man, it'd be so fun if you just made a series that was like true facts about humans. And literally what I thought about doing was I would just like go to like a food court type of place. And now I feel like this would be very like invasion of privacy type whatever. But like pretty much just get generalized B-roll of like humans just moving about, you know. And
well, you know, this is what stock footage is for, you know.
That's true.
You can just go. I'm sure that you go on story blocks. I bet there is endless footage of just, you know, people sitting at tables and stuff.
Ben Carlin narrates stock footage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being good. I could see that being good. But anyway, so it goes back to my original question: is what would fun facts about humans be? Because I feel like we could talk about like termites in the Sahara Desert, for example, which make like these Sahara? No, where am I thinking of?
Gobi, I don't know.
Grasslands, maybe. Anywhere, wherever elephants also are, there.
I think that's the Sahara.
It is the Sahara. So, okay.
Right.
The Sahara. Yeah. We're
Okay.
back. We're good.
We're
good.
there.
Anyway, termites can make these giant, like, mud structures, you know?
Yeah.
And they become, like, fixtures of the landscape because they're making them like so slowly with like mud that's being like baked by the sun, and it, like they effectively form into these like concrete pillars. And so if you were going to talk about fun facts about termites, you would absolutely discuss the fact that they can make these huge structures, and chances are we would be in awe of what they do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you were told, like if you're out in the desert and you see this great big stack of weird looking, almost like stalagmites coming out of the ground, it's like, what are these things? And be like, oh, termites make those. It's like, whoa, that's way to go, termites. Would other species of maybe even like much more highly developed aliens come and look at the accomplishments of humankind and be like, oh my gosh, you got to see these. They build these like really tall like workplaces, and so like all the little like workers, they come and they fill into them. They spend all day there, but then like at the same time, just about every day, they all leave. You know,
Yeah,
go
you
back
can
to
like
their
watch
homes.
it. It's crazy. They just like all zip back, and then they come back in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
I think they would describe humans as an incredibly adaptive species. Like, you know, like humans cannot physically fly, but they have created ways to do so anyway.
Right.
They can't move that fast, but they've created ways to move fast.
True.
Like, they can't communicate mind to mind like we the aliens can, but they created these devices that talk to each other that are effectively the same.
Right. Yeah. Like they had to overcome this challenge because
Right.
their thoughts aren't just commingled
They're
with
so
one another.
basic, but they are really impressive in the way they get around it.
Okay, but here's the other thing too. All right, so let's look at something even more basic than building a skyscraper. Which, in case you listener at home were like, "What is he describing?" I was describing a skyscraper.
Yeah,
It was
I understood.
It was like a termite mound.
Yeah.
But like for humans,
Do
a
you
human
think-
termite mound.
Do you
is a
think it is
skyscraper.
possible that you could just build a structure from Earth all the way to space? Or would that be like so tall that the spinning of the Earth would just like mess it up?
Oh man, you're asking me questions that I don't think I'm prepared to answer.
Right?
It seems
Could you
like
just be like, I will be taking the elevator to space today. Whoop.
Voop.
Probably more than a voop. It's probably like a voop. Ding. You're like, oh, come on. Who's getting on it? 1069. Gosh.
I know. Wouldn't it be interesting though if it was just like an elevator and then like the top of the elevator is just open to actual space? So you go up, and the projectile nature of the elevator like rocketing towards space, and like it gets to the top, and it just sort of slams, and you get launched.
Wait. Okay, wait. New question.
Open air into space.
New question then, though. Okay. You build an elevator that just goes all the way into space, like you said, but it's open air at the top.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But so basically, what then you have is a tube going all the way to space.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right. If there's nothing like blocking that tube, and it's just like an open straw to space, could you stick your head in the straw and breathe?
Oh goodness me.
Or like when are you able to breathe? Or will does that like pierce the atmosphere in such a way that it just like sucks all the oxygen, just sends it into space? We're all just dead.
Like basically, I feel like the question you're asking is, if you were to run a tube to space, does space create a vacuum into Earth?
Yeah, exactly. That's what that's what I'm asking. That sounds scary.
I'm gonna say no, because I need it to be no. I think the other thing too is because like what we breathe is like elements of the periodic table, right?
Yeah.
And they are very, 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 very small, which makes me think that they would be capable. You would almost have to have the structure be made out of something that the atoms couldn't like pass through, right?
I'm talking just an open tube to space.
And just an
Open tube to space. If you created that, would all of a sudden just like suddenly like the air starts sucking out through it?
All right, well, this is what I need to back up for a second, because you're saying an open tube. Do you remember Pogs?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think that's where you're going. Okay. I remember the 90s cardboard disc phenomenon that was Pogs.
Okay, so in case you don't know what Pogs are, they were basically a piece of cardboard with a graphic printed on them.
That was it.
In the shape of a circle. And they were highly collectible for some reason.
There was apparently a game you could play with them that involved like Ultra Pogs known as Slammers,
which were incredibly cool and highly sought after. And to this day, I would love a Slammer.
I had a single Slammer, and I remember it to this day. It was white. It had I thought was really like what I thought was top Pog technology, is that on the back it had two little indentions where your fingers would go so as to better grip the Slammer.
Dang!
I know, it was like awesome. But then on the front, it had like a rainbow holographic image of a palm tree.
Oh, I couldn't have ended that sentence if you gave me 100 guesses.
Who made this? Someone somewhere made the rainbow holographic palm tree slammer that I had. Like,
someone went home from work one day like, honey, listen to what I came up with today. State-of-the-art Pog. Slammer technology.
Right, it's got an extra grip functionality to it, and the artwork, you're not going to believe it. It is like, it's like a rainbow holographic image of a palm tree.
It's like you're really there.
I mean, unbelievable. Like, imagine staring through a rainbow at a palm tree. That's what this is. Some child is going to bring this home and talk about it on a recorded radio show someday. Some
like this. That is the type of notoriety that is on the table.
Do you ever think about stuff like that? Like, someone made this. Someone did this.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, I think the TV show, how it's made, was like, in some ways, for me.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I am so the target audience. Like, if I know how anything is done, then it's like, oh, I'm like, now I'm gonna do this. Like, this is gonna happen. Anyway, the reason I brought it up is because we had good friends growing up who also had Pogs, and the storage container for Pogs were these like plastic tubes, effectively.
Yeah.
So if you could imagine like a paper towel roll, except made out of plastic with like a little popper top, or like mini M&Ms. You remember those? They came in like a little tube.
Yeah.
So it was like that, except it was a little bit bigger, maybe like an inch and a half. But we had these friends, and I remember going over to their house one day, and they had a tube that stood from floor to ceiling.
Yes.
And it was like a neon yellow-green
this
tube.
Yeah. I remember I had a tube that was maybe like 6 inches long or something.
Yeah.
And I was like getting close to almost filling it up halfway with Pogs. And I was like, this is awesome. I can't wait to fill up this whole tube with Pogs.
I got a great collection.
Yeah, we went to our friend's house. It was like, man, you guys are outdoing us on a scale I can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah, it was like I didn't expect this.
Forget it.
This wasn't something that I considered was on the table.
Yeah.
Also, where did you get it? Where did you buy a 10-foot long Pog tube?
I know.
Anyway.
Anyway.
The point is that when you're imagining your tube that goes to space, I'm imagining a Pog tube.
You're imagining a Pog tube.
I'm imagining a Pog tube.
I think you need something a little bit sturdier. I would guess that at some point on the way up to space, the Pog tube would like be too flimsy or get like crunched in or something.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true because
Yeah.
I think like any good straw technology, which is
Yeah.
effectively what a giant tube
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
It's like, you know, if I had like a Dr. Pepper like on the other side of the room, I don't know why I chose Dr. Pepper. I don't drink Dr. Pepper, but anyway.
What if it was there?
What if it was there and I
If
and
you
then I
had-
like
you had a craving.
yeah, and then I stuck together like 87 bendy straws
Yeah.
to my chair. I don't think that I could actually like slurp the Dr. P
Yeah.
through the tube from that far away.
Yeah. At
Because
what point?
I think it would collapse.
I see what you mean.
Like there's too much.
But if you had a single non-connected bendy straw that went from here to there,
I still think,
I
it
think you
wouldn't
could
work.
do it.
No, I don't think it would
No?
work. I think the straw would be too long.
no, I think you could do it.
The limit does exist.
What?
For strawing
Why?
technology. Because it has to.
It does not.
Well, okay. Well,
The only limit would be how long you could suck.
okay, so I have tubes from aquarium keeping that we could probably test this with. One continuous tube, and we could run an experiment to see.
I think
how
we could go
far-
to the roof of this building and put a cup on the street and stick a tube to it and drink it all the way up to the top.
I don't think you could.
Why not?
I don't think you
There's-
could.
Of course you could.
Well, we're gonna test it.
We are going to test it.
I will stand firm on my no way it won't work.
Okay, I don't see why it wouldn't work. But also, what would happen if you had a straw to space?
Okay. Well, I want there to be a straw to space because it just seems like it's coming. You know, it feels like at some point. In
Well,
time,
not if it's going to suck all the air out of the earth.
but it might not.
But
I mean, what
it's
does?
a pretty terrible risk.
Yeah, it's weird that this hasn't come up more often.
I mean,
like the concern over what would happen when you like break through the ozone layer.
Yeah,
and
with a
such.
big tube.
With a big tube.
Right. Okay. So, because like, at
Like, is
some
the
point,
ozone layer not just a flimsy lid around the cup that is Earth?
Exactly. And you can build a straw that goes through that. So like, yeah, sure. If you have like a tube that's only like this big or something, but you have like a silo or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking even way bigger than that.
Wait, like even bigger than a silo.
I'm thinking like bigger than like the Empire State Building, you know, in terms of like, I'm talking like a city block size straw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real big.
And what's the question again? Whether or not it
Whether or not once that straw pierces the ozone and goes into space, if if you could breathe inside the straw.
I think so.
But eventually you couldn't, right? Or would you be able, like, could you like
Eventually,
how far up-
eventually you couldn't.
But why?
Yeah.
Why is it even? Why is the answer eventually? Why wouldn't it be all the way through? Wouldn't air constantly be going up through the straw into space?
Well, so let me ask you this: so when you stick a straw into a Dr. Pepper,
Yeah.
right? Like the liquid doesn't go all the way up to the top of the straw.
Well, but that's liquid. This is gas.
But isn't liquid just really cool gas?
I mean, they're different forms of matter. So I don't know if maybe like at a certain temperature it would stop rising or something, and it would create like its own atmosphere inside the giant straw.
It feels like we should be sitting on beanbag chairs eating Cheetos right now.
We're not that far away.
People are like, these guys,
Some people just know the answer and they're just like, "Yeah, stop."
leave it where it
You
is.
don't want the giant. But see, here's the thing: either they're like, "Don't even suggest this to the greater public, because then they're going to do it and we're all dead," or they're like, "This would absolutely not be a problem. Don't worry."
Right.
Because like I'm also then maybe if it was just like what if you're like blowing air up it seems like that would create like a vacuum, right? Wouldn't it start moving up?
I don't
like
think
what
you-
about when you stick? Okay, what about when you aquarium Ben are cleaning out getting the water out of a tank?
Yeah.
You like stick one end in. You like suck on the other end, water starts coming through.
You create
and then
a
it just
siphon.
it creates a siphon.
Yeah.
Would it not just be siphoning the air?
We'll see. But before, remember when I used liquid and you said, "But this is gas."
Yeah. But this is the question is about siphoning.
So I know. I know. I mean, I am. That is what I'm very curious about. Is because you can't. I don't think you could like suction the air out of. Could you suction the air out of a container? Like, so if you were in like a container that was like underground, I believe that you could use up all of the available oxygen.
Okay, let's see this then. If you have a balloon filled with helium,
Okay.
and you're able to poke a straw right directly through it, then would the helium, would that escape? That would eventually escape through the straw, right?
Let's see. Okay, so you have a balloon. Full of
Yeah, a
helium.
balloon.
You've stuck the straw into it. The balloon didn't pop.
Assume the balloon does not pop, and there's a perfect seal between the balloon and the straw.
Right. The helium would leave through the straw.
Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
helium is lighter than oxygen.
But okay, sure.
So I think that's why. But I don't know. Like, do you remember the time that you asked?
Okay. Let's say it's not helium. Let's say it's just oxygen, and now there's a hole in the balloon with a straw. Wouldn't it go?
It would.
Right.
It would. But the question is whether or not the ozone layer is a balloon. Because we formerly
We are not smart enough.
We're not smart enough. There's like, we can't logic our way into things we don't know.
How is it always straw? How many holes does a straw have? Who knows?
Do not even open
vampire teeth. Straws.
Welcome to. We should just right next to Snailer
Moon.
Snailer Moon. So we have a shell on the coffee table that sits before us. Maybe I even feel like it would fit our style theme here, but maybe we should just get like a glass container full of like bendy straws here for our set because we're straw people.
We're straw people.
So we need to feature straws more prominently. We'll have to get some compostable straws though.
Okay, yeah.
Which brings me to my next topic of the day.
Okay, wow. Segue.
we could depart. Just because I can't imagine any way that we will possibly have anything else to add to the great straw to space dilemma.
Someone's going to answer this question for us.
Someone will, and we're going to circle back on it because
yeah.
I need to know answers. Anyway, speaking of compost, I'm at that stage of life apparently.
Well, you're composting?
Well, does anybody else do that from the
Encanto?
Encanto?
Well,
There's like a part of the song where it's just like, well, because Allie and I have started doing it all the time.
no, I haven't gotten to that one.
Okay, well, anyway,
if you mi Vidagawan over here.
well, if you'd like to borrow it at any point in time, you're more than welcome. Well, so
I'm in my family.
I have throughout history when we were kids, we had a backyard garden. I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
We actually went back and we had this big backyard, like it was the strangest backyard playground. Even in history, looking back on it, I'm like, how and why was this what it was? Because do you remember it was like a deck, like a freestanding deck in the backyard, but it was like as big as like a catwalk through the middle. So it wasn't like a deck that like mom and dad could have gone out on and like, sat down with a group of friends and like, had a beer and watched the sunset or something like that. Like
it was stairs to a narrow walkway.
Yes.
And that's with railings. Yeah.
And eventually dad put a slide on it.
Yeah. So, but when we bought the house, the slide was not there, nor was the platform that the slide was attached to. So it's perhaps the people who lived in the house before us had a larger slide that simply attached to the top that they took with them when they left.
Who takes a slide?
Who takes a slide? I don't know. Or maybe they started building what would eventually be what we ended up with and just didn't finish. But
seems possible.
The other thing was that at the very least, underneath the walkway was a tire swing.
Oh, yeah.
And that might have been the purpose for the structure. Because
that's a huge amount of work for a tire swing.
Huge amount of work for a tire swing. Don't understand it. And then, but we added all the extra fun things to it. So because you had this big deck that had like, that was above the ground, we had like big pieces of wood coming out of the sides.
Yeah.
So like going when you got to the top, like at the front of the walkway, there was like a beam coming out on either side, and then at the end of the walkway, there was a beam coming out on either side. And I think 2 of them had like swings hanging on them, and then one had like a gymnastics, I don't know, bar or something.
It was like a straight bar hanging by like 2 like chains.
Yeah, and then one had like a climbing rope.
Yeah. Oh, the climbing rope.
And there was a tire swing, not the tire swing you're thinking of. It's a horizontal tire swing. So the circle is parallel with the ground. Not like one where you sit in the tire, but one where you stand on all 3, like, yeah.
It was great for pinching your fingers.
It was great, but anyway, and then there was a slide at the end.
Anyway, yeah, so we would have this water slide, right? And we would we'd bring the hose up, we'd set it on the slide, and then go down it.
Yeah,
and
it was amazing.
It actually was really amazing, and it was really cool because as time went on, we were able to like almost like create like a jet path at the bottom. So you come down the slide, your butt would hit the ground, and then you just slide through the mud.
Keep going.
Right to the vegetable garden.
Right to the vegetable garden. Yeah, it was at the end of the yard.
At the end of the yard. I have no idea why I included everything that we just discussed leading up to
when we really just wanted to talk about the garden.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wanted people to like really be there with us, you know. It's like, this was our childhood backyard, this is where we were,
right?
And it was a very strange backyard. I mean, it was probably like 50 yards back.
Oh boy, I think about this all the time. In my mind, you're right, it was like 50 yards, but I bet like if we went back there today, it'd be like 15.
Oh,
you know,
that'd be weird.
Like, to me, yeah, it was like a very long, narrow strip of yard.
It was,
right?
Yeah, but it was, I would say it was, in my mind, it was 50 yards long, but probably only like 20 feet wide or something like that.
Yeah, like it was not super wide, but it was plenty of room for us to like run around and do stuff.
Maybe 30 feet wide, but still, that's not a lot.
Yeah, and it had bushes going all the way down one side, but they were planted right at the top of a hill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it like looked, if you just looked at it, you might not even realize there was a hill there because the bushes were like, they grew right up to the crest of the hill.
Yep.
They were huge bushes.
They were huge.
Right? They were like taller than us.
Absolutely.
All the way down.
All the way down.
What were these bushes?
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, maybe we were just a lot smaller. And
maybe.
Anyway, all that to say, though, I remember at some point in time when we were kids, our down the street neighbor had a rototiller. And I'm not entirely convinced that Dad didn't want to put in a vegetable garden for the sole purpose of getting to run the rototiller. But we did it, and it was like this, I don't know, it was such a memorable experience. Like, it was like rototiller day.
Yeah.
You know, like we went out there, we had this like patch of grass that was just grass, and then by the end of it, it was this like tilled up space for gardening.
For garden.
At which point we did plant like a whole bunch of stuff, and it was actually very fun, I think, if you have children, to plant a garden, because like there's the day that you plant everything, there's the day something peeks up out of the ground, there's the day that like you can see your first fruit, there's the day you get to eat your first fruit.
If I recall, I feel like we had a ton of stuff.
We did
in the garden for a pretty small garden.
Yeah, it was not terribly large, but we had like at least a few rows of like corn.
Yeah, we had like 2 tiny rows of corn. I know we were growing pumpkins. I think watermelons.
We tried to grow watermelons.
Okay,
Yeah.
we did the pumpkins. The pumpkins worked great. We did like potatoes and carrots, and there was a bunch of stuff out there.
Yeah. So it all ended up being, I don't know, just like a very fun experience or whatever. But from there, I feel like it was kind of like this experience that made me feel like I knew. It was probably a little bit of like the Dunning-Kruger phenomenon that we've discussed in the past, which is this idea of your confidence being disproportionately high relative to your experience.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, basically those two ideas kind of tend to switch, which then lands you at like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you realize the less you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so I know that when you and I started living together in 2012, we had a backyard, and at some point in time, I think we got like jazzed about the prospect of having a vegetable garden in the backyard. I think it was just like, a weekend whim type of project.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but like at that point in time, I really, really, really think we didn't know what we were doing, because like we went back there and I think we planted about 100 times too much stuff for the
Sure.
piece of land that we had available.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of stuff grew, and like very little was able to actually be harvested from it because it all just kind of ran into each other.
Right.
all that brings me to modern day Ben, where I have found myself like kind of excited about gardening, but I'm like really wanting to approach it the right way.
Okay.
You know, like I want.
What are you gonna garden?
Well, potatoes for sure.
Okay.
If I remember one thing from my childhood, it was that homegrown potatoes tasted better.
Oh, for sure.
Than regular potatoes. And I've heard other people say that tomatoes are the same way, but I tend
Yes,
to not
they
like
are.
tomatoes.
Well, that's homegrown tomatoes are far superior to like store-bought tomatoes.
Right.
For sure. But yeah, if you don't like tomatoes anyway, then, or maybe you just don't like them because they, they haven't been good tomatoes.
Right. Yeah. So I'm excited to like try to grow as much of my own food as I can, which is, it's kind of odd because I just came back from a week at Disney. And when I'm at Disney, you go to Epcot, and at Epcot, there is this like one attraction that is like very slow moving, but I personally love it.
Oh, where you see like all the hydroponics and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is really cool. It's called Living with the Land, and it's like you're in like a very slow moving like boat that's just drifting through, and there's like a speaker describing the stuff around you that you're seeing. It's like one of these things that it's so odd that it's coming like from Disney, because it's like, Disney is like this sort of this like megacorp type of company, but it definitely is the thing that's like inspiring me to like go home and be like, you know what, I want to try to grow my own food in a very like small, like very limited to me kind of like,
Yeah.
It sounds so silly, but like maybe to like do my part in a way or something, which is weird because I do remember in college, this was a horrible Ben Carlin take in college, but I will tell you guys so you can see my character growth as a human being. But one of the things that I thought was typically like silly at that time was recycling bins, which is ridiculous because they're obviously a good thing. I recycle all of my stuff, but I remember that it was like the issues that we were facing are so much bigger than the like recycling bin itself. It's like
Right.
like the real issues are probably less to do with the individual humans on the planet and more to do with grand scale production type
Right.
things. It was like, if we really want to make a difference, that's probably where you should do it. But I feel like it's just this thing where it's like I feel like I have like let my world get a little bit smaller around me, which is probably in part from having a daughter,
Yeah.
and like feeling like like letting go of some of the external forces of control that I can't sway, and just trying to do things that feel good like within my household. So what's interesting, is that in all the other iterations where we've ever planted a garden, it's always been this like very like boredom based thing, like this is something to do, or like even as kids it was more just like this, like mom and dad said we were going to set up a garden, and like I've enjoyed messing with the garden.
Right.
But so this is the first time where I ever have like intention behind it.
Right.
So I'm actually like going to like I'm going to try to start figuring out like what I can do to almost like to be like a little bit more sustainable entirely on my own.
Right.
So like you don't have to go and like purchase these things.
Okay.
But then maybe also incorporate more of those things like into my diet so that I continue to also not buy other things.
Ah, yes.
Do you follow the train of
I
thinking?
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, it's I spent all weekend kind of prepping my space for my raised bed gardens.
Excellent.
I know. And now I'm very curious because composting is this thing that I think sounds very lame. And again, maybe it doesn't. Like maybe this was
Maybe to you it has always seemed lame.
What is your opinion of composting?
I think that a lot of people discover composting and like love finding new things they can put in their composter and telling you about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's like I think composting falls into that category of like rescue dogs or CrossFit or something. Or it's like
cryptocurrency.
Like, do you know how I know this person composts? Because they told me about it. immediately.
Which is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm
you're
doing
doing. You're already falling victim to it.
I know.
There's nothing wrong with any of those things.
No.
By the way.
Of course not. No, I just think it's more of a trope than anything else.
Yeah, it is.
There is some reliability to everything we just said. Yes, I think like I've always been sort of like put off by the idea of composting because it just involves like keeping your food scraps in some capacity.
Yeah.
Which has always been like one of these things where I'm like, man, like I feel like I'm going to be bad at that.
It to me seems like I would accumulate, like, to me, it's like, because mostly what it is just, accumulating food scraps and like putting it in a specific, like, plastic bin to compost, right?
Well, yes. I mean that is like one way to do it. It's like a lot of people will have like a drum that you can actually go out and rotate, and that kind of keeps everything
get some new air on there.
Yeah, some new air. Like spread the bacteria and
Right.
all that. But there's like ratios of like brown matter, brown materials. That's going to be like dried up leaves or sticks or newspaper or cardboard or something like that, mixed with like wet material, which is going to be like an old pumpkin.
Okay.
Or like watermelon rinds, egg shells, coffee grounds.
Well, I got a lot of those.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what I am very curious about is like attempting to like start putting some effort into that, making my own dirt.
Oh.
I know.
Nice.
Because that's effectively what compost is.
Right.
And I thought about
It's probably
this.
like nutrient-rich dirt, though.
You know what it really is, though?
What?
When it really comes down to it,
Right.
compost is effectively plant poop.
Yeah.
Like it's like the same thing that like cows eat grass, right? And then when they produce waste, it's manure, and manure can be used for fertilizing soil or plants and such.
Exactly.
And it's like basically that's what you're ending up with, except it didn't pass through
A cow. Right.
But like
You're just creating a cow stomach.
you're just creating a cow stomach.
Exactly. They should be leading it like this. They're calling it composting. What they should be calling it is cow stomaching.
Yes. They absolutely
You guys want to
should.
see my cow stomach? It's great.
It's like,
My cows eat great.
yes, the eggs.
Yeah,
well,
lots of eggshells.
Lots of eggshells.
So several things about composting have always seemed like, one, it feels like it would take a long time to get to the point where how would you harvest the compost?
I don't think it takes as long as you think it would.
Like, is my perception of like the half-life of a banana peel too great?
Well, I think it's got less to do. Like, I think the banana peel itself would break down very quickly, like within a matter of like weeks.
Yeah.
And it would just start to become, like whatever nutrients exist inside of the banana peel itself would then just have like found their way into the soil that you're then creating. I don't know how long it would take. I need to spend more time with it.
Okay.
So far, I have a heap.
You got a heap.
And my hope is to turn that heap into
dirt.
Yeah. Which then I can like use to help fertilize my plants.
Yeah. I think when people tell me this, my perception is that it's gonna take forever.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to compost for like several years or something before you have. And I feel like I would also be adding stuff on top of it so frequently that even if stuff was composting, there'd be like fresh stuff on top that you wouldn't be using. But I just don't know anything about it. This is like my ignorance talking.
No, I know. That's a very good point though. Yeah, because it's like a lot of this stuff in here is like ready to go, like weeks ago.
Right.
But some of it, I mean, I just put that banana peel in there like 30 minutes ago.
Like, what if you how often are you like reusing? Like, how often do you have to put more dirt on your garden? Like, once you like set it up, aren't you like pretty good to go? Or, I mean, maybe you do it again the next year.
I think you can spread compost throughout the season.
Okay.
To like continuously add more nourishment back to it. That's probably overkill, honestly. Like I know that one of the things that like farmers have dealt with historically is the issue of planting crops year after year after year to the point where like the soil has nothing left in it.
Yeah.
To like
right
to grow.
Sure.
So that becomes a problem.
Right.
Eventually.
This is like I'm not an anti poster. I have thought about it before, and I'm like, I feel like I would fill it up so fast. And also, to me, my perception is also that it would smell.
Well, it is plant poop.
Exactly. Right?
So it could smell like manure.
Also, so
it would not smell like rotting food. if that makes you feel any better.
Okay.
It would
makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, because you're not gonna put like leftover like sausage or like something like that in there. Like that, those types of food scraps would foul.
Right.
So there are certain things that would work and certain things that wouldn't work.
I gotcha.
You would have to be aware of that.
I gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. So then, like every day, are you gonna before you can make your coffee? Are you gonna have to take your old grounds like outside all the way to the compost bin and dump it, and then walk all the way back inside?
This is where I've always been stuck.
Yeah.
Because that is the exact thing. Like people are like, oh, just have like a container, and it's like I don't want that sitting in my room or like in my kitchen or whatever. But I do think that there are like vacuum sealed like lids or whatever.
What you need, Ben?
What do
you need? A big straw that you can open from your house. Just boom, you need like a compost chute.
A compost chute.
Exactly.
And it just,
not unlike the can. You can put it next to the can chute.
Right, there we go.
Which is also a straw through your house.
What a throwback. What a throwback. Anyway, so
excuse me.
But both of those things kind of contribute to this idea of like wellness. But also, I think as I've gotten older, I just really like plants.
Yeah. Okay.
They grow faster. Like I have historically grown corals in aquariums, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
It takes so long. It's so slow.
Yeah.
And yet here, like we have an office plant that has its own Instagram.
Yeah.
And I water it every day.
Hi, my name is Rouse Jr. That's the Instagram. You should go follow it right now.
We post a new picture every day with a witty pun.
Yeah. If you like corny jokes, you're going to love Hi, my name is Rouse Jr., the Instagram.
Yeah, it's really great. We will link it in the show notes if you'd like to go and check that out. But it's been really fun because one of our sponsors here at Super Carlin Brothers is a company called Bespoke Post, and one of the months they had like one of the products you could order was literally a live plant. So they like mailed us a live plant, and I was like, well, okay. And it was really small in the beginning, and now it's quite large.
Yeah.
Riles Jr. has grown up.
He's growing.
I know he's so.
Actually, this was one of my favorite things about Riles Jr. too. See if you can spot it in the posts at Hi, my name is Riles Jr. the Instagram. But once upon a time, he had a very tiny leaf starting to come up, and we have the charms that come in our candles here.
Yeah.
And so I fitted the charm through the budding leaf, and now the leaf has fully grown. So there's just a charm at the base of one of the leaves.
Yes.
And I love it. You can't get it off.
unless you were to clip that leaf.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Which,
yeah.
I mean, no way.
So, yeah. How many do your plants have bling on them? I doubt it.
Right, no, I mean, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so all of that, though, I'm working on my vegetable garden this week, so hopefully I'll have updates on that in weeks to come. I'll continue to keep you posted. But it's all underneath this like big umbrella of wellness. Which you might be able to relate to this because at one point in time, right after you had Luke, I remember you making the comment about exercise like almost being for the purposes of like this like responsibility.
Like exercise as a responsibility.
Yes,
yeah.
but not even like so like yes to you like your physical human body.
Yeah.
But like for the purposes of then being able to pass that health on to ongoing contributions to your children's lives.
Right,
basically.
like it's your responsibility to be healthy, not just so that you personally are healthy, but so that you are physically capable of like helping your family or whoever else is in your life. And like it's I think it's just all around thing for like the greater community of people you live in. Like if you are healthy, that is better for literally everyone because that's less chance that like you're getting sick and ending up in like a hospital or something.
Sure.
Like that.
Sure. Yeah, but so that style of thinking, like I remember you telling me that, and I remember it even making so much sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. That makes sense. I could see it. But again, it's like now that Daddy's here, I feel like there's been so much more of this thinking that has come to the forefront of my brain. Like there's so much more. Like I've got like one of these gallon water jugs right here.
Right there.
If you're watching, you can see it. So like the goal is to drink like a gallon of water a day. I have like a walking treadmill at my desk so that I'm like moving while typing a script at work.
Right.
And now I'm trying to, get into my own compost.
Right.
Have my
composting.
My own vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And with all that, the other big project that I have on the horizon that, man, it's like if I say it out loud, I feel like the commitment's happening.
You got to manifest it.
I know, but Alice and I have been talking for quite some time. We just got back from Disney, and so we knew prior to that trip that we didn't want to start this next project. We wanted to, because we wanted to be able to do the things that you can't do once it starts on the trip, namely, basically, libations. Epcot, drink around the world.
Yeah.
Super fun. But have you heard of, and I'm sure we've talked about it before, but it's called 75 Hard.
Oh, I've heard of 75 Hard, yeah, because our younger brother, Tyler, tried to do it, or I don't know how far he got into it, but he was doing it for a while.
I think he got like 40-something days in.
Yeah.
So the original creator of 75 Hard, I believe, is like a guy who owns like a CrossFit company or something. But I think when he first proposed it, he was like, nobody will ever do this. Like a couple people might do it. But I think the challenge is concentrated enough that it seems to, like, some people have like locked into it and really been able to do almost like a lifestyle calibration or like reset.
Right.
So let me describe what 75 Hard is.
Okay.
Because I have the specific things that you are supposed to be doing if you are following the 75 Hard lifestyle. So 75 days, that's where 75 comes from.
Right.
The first thing is follow a diet, and it's any diet at all. So it doesn't have to be like something specific. It's just find whatever meets your dietary needs, goals, whatever the case may be, and stick to it. And I think really what that comes down to is just, it means one way or another you've become intentional about what you're eating.
Right.
And under that note, there is
that seems to be what a lot of like the underlying theme is. Like it's not necessarily that doing any of these things is going to like make you like, this is the secret. It's like what it's doing is like tricking you into being intentional about all these things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is something that like if I were to try to issue like a piece of very broad spectrum advice, I think that it's very easy to fall into like patterns of behaviors. Like, I go here and do this. I do this, I take this vacation every year. I eat these meals. I go out with these friends. It's like, there at some point in time, I think it's hard for people to possibly really take a step back and be like, am I doing this because it's like what I've been doing in the past and it's easy, or is this actually the stuff that like where I want to be directing my efforts?
Right.
And my guess is that if you were to take an audit of those things, chances are you'd find that a lot of stuff you do want to be doing because you probably ended up there somehow, some way, because you wanted to be there at some point in time.
Right.
But it's also possible that your lifestyle has developed somewhere along the way.
Well, this is actually, Beth and I talk about this. We've been talking about it recently with like travel and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like we go on lots of trips and stuff throughout the year, but rarely are we the ones being like, we would like to go here, and then we plan a trip there. Like, travel like happens to me more than I happen to it.
Right, that makes sense. That makes sense. That being said, I would be so absurdly curious to see where you guys would first go.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on the list?
We have like, we've been talking about it a bunch, and I'm not sure if we've like landed on a specific spot, but I think we are in the near future like sitting down to come up with just like a bucket list travel list.
Love it.
And then we'll just sort of start going, I guess, hopefully.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Good. We'll keep us posted.
Will do.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on down our list here.
Yes,
So
75 hard.
75 hard. So follow a diet. The stipulations here, if there are going to be any, is that you can't have a single cheat meal. So throughout the entire process.
That's hard. That is pretty hard.
That is pretty hard, depending on what you choose. And let me circle back to that in just one second. The final detail there from a diet standpoint is no drinking any alcohol. So that was the big thing that Alice and I knew that we were going to want to do while we were at Disney, just because it's kind of part of a lot of the traditions that we do on those trips. It's something her and I enjoy doing together. The other thing, too, is that the game plan for us is to start a week on the upcoming Sunday. So this episode will go live on a Friday. The next day will be a Saturday. The next day we start.
Okay.
So that's the game plan.
So are you gonna have like Fat Saturday or something?
What is Fat Saturday?
Well, so like Fat Tuesday is like Mardi Gras. It's like the day before Lent, where people like party and break all the rules before they can't break the rules for.
To be honest with you, a little bit, yes.
Okay.
But not even on purpose. It happens to be the case that St. Patrick's Day is being celebrated on this upcoming Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And it's. I typically would not go particularly all out or anything for St. Patrick's Day, but I had friends who asked me to be involved with this event that they're doing like 2 months ago, and they were like putting in their friend card, like I'm cashing in the you're
coming to this thing on St. Patrick's Day with me now.
Yes. And they gave me such advance notice that it's like, okay,
have to do it.
So
man, the St. Patrick's Day, it's not something I'm typically like, whoa, yeah, let's go out crazy.
Yeah.
But and I'm having this like internal struggle because Saturday is typically when I try and play Pokemon, which is a rare happening. So it's always real exciting when I get to go. We've been out of town some.
Right.
Now we're back, and this felt like maybe the first weekend, but it's St. Patrick's Day. So the question is, will I be able to go, or are we going to go to the St. Patrick's Day parade, which would be more fun for the kids and like a more family outing. Yeah. Also, I've heard tell that the Clydesdale horses from Budweiser are going to be at the parade.
That's pretty neat.
Like, that's pretty cool. I don't know. They're like famous horses.
And we all know that Jay loves horses.
I do like horses. It'd be cool to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's neat. That's like a weird like selling marketing thing. Like, you got the Clydesdales. Like, I've seen Clydesdales and it's like the Budweiser. Like, ooh, those are pretty fancy.
When you put it like that.
You put it like that. As if I drink, it's like, it's not even like, I don't know. I don't even drink Budweiser.
That's like me and Dr. Pepper. Remember earlier? Exactly, I was like, Dr. Pepper. Anyway, so moving on down my list. Can I continue?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to the bottom of the 75 hard eventually.
We will. Okay. So follow any diet, no drinking alcohol, no cheat meals. The one thing I will say about my specific diet is that my big issue when it comes to a lot of my fitness goals is that I don't eat enough food. So my big goal is a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Hard stop. So it's like, for me, that pretty much just means that if I'm eating like 170 grams of protein a day, then like, as far as I'm concerned, that is the diet that I have picked.
Right.
So on the one, it's sort of like, like if you were going to eat something that's not as healthy, it's like, it probably does still have some amount of protein in it. So the real issue is, will you be able to consume the rest of the protein if you eat this thing?
Yeah, that's a lot of protein.
It's a lot of protein.
Yeah.
Like my guess is that very few people are eating that much protein a day without doing it extremely on purpose.
Right.
Or
you're gonna have to get a lot of chicken breasts.
Yes. Yeah.
Or
exactly.
Like protein shakes, probably.
Gonna have to figure out a lot of stuff. So I think that will help me, because there are days where we're so busy that it's just like I just got to eat what's easy. But for the most part, if I just set myself up for success, hopefully that'll mean I'll be able to succeed. I'll succeed. Yes. Number 2 on the list is work out twice a day for 45 minutes. One of those workouts must be outside.
Ooh.
So
that could count as like walking your dog or something.
Technically it could. Yeah. So like going out and walking like on purpose, or again, like continuously for 45 minutes would absolutely count.
Right.
So you don't have to go out there and be doing like kettlebell swings or, some type of high intensity anything. And the good news is I already do work out fairly often as is. So this again will be much more than I currently do, but hopefully it's not going to be so much that it would be overwhelming.
Right.
So there's that. So that's the next bit. Drink a gallon of water daily, which has been a goal of mine as is. The last one on there that I actually feel like I could sort of take it or leave it is read 10 pages of nonfiction every day. And it says audiobooks don't count. And it also stipulates that the book must fall into the personal development category. These are things that, I don't know. I'm sure. I think probably like every other item on the list, it's you're being intentional about bettering yourself,
Right.
and by reading something that helps you better understand yourself. The other thing, possibly also, if you can't listen to an audiobook, it's like forcing you to slow down long enough to sit with a physical book.
Right.
For me, I'm like, if I can listen to a book that even falls into this category on one of those 45-minute workouts,
Right.
I'm gonna call that a win.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I'm honestly less preoccupied with that particular
Right.
step of it. And then the final thing is take progress pictures daily. So all of this to say, though, one of the big things that I've been kind of curious about trying, possibly doing, is like doing a TikTok series that's just one video a day the whole time, with outlining what these things are.
Right.
So it's like, okay, guys, I'm doing 75 hard. Here we are, day 1. I did this workout here. I did this in the park. Had this meal, and here's my progress picture.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I'd be able to hopefully do a progress picture montage that would just be like, here we go.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be something good. And all of it caps off so nicely because at the end of the 75 days will be the days leading up to our family beach trip.
Well, there you go.
Boom.
Then you'll be able to have fun again.
Summer ready.
Boom. Getting ready. Going in clean.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you think? Can I do it?
I think probably you can do it. My guess is that the working out for the 2 45-minute a day sessions is going to be the most difficult on days when you don't naturally just go to the gym.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
That's fair.
But otherwise, also the drinking a gallon of water every day is a lot.
It is. And
Yeah.
I noticed that you came in today and you have a half-gallon jug for the office.
Yeah, well, so you and Beth in the same week independently got these giant gallon jug water things, and we're like, this is gonna be my new drinking container.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is in the air right now? Why is everyone getting I'm just okay. I've been constantly exposed to these giant jugs of water. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So I got myself a half-gallon jug of water because I'm already bad at drinking water anyway. But I was like, if I can finish a half-gallon jug of water plus whatever else I'm just intaking naturally, then that'll be pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
So this was day 1 for that, and I finished it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Look at you go. Woo. That's amazing. Yeah, I was practicing over the weekend. I had like a counter on my wall that was like how many glasses of water have I had today, and each time I was able to like mark a new thing on there.
Nice.
So I got my gallon on Sunday.
Nice.
Felt good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I feel like I've talked a lot today.
Well, that's okay.
Is there anything that you want to say?
I think we are at a pretty good stopping point.
You'd like to leave it here?
I think we're good, yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, if I appreciate you tuning in to this week's episode of The Pop. If you'd like to support us over on Patreon, we have a lot of really cool stuff happening over there right now. At the end of each week, Jay and I do record an extra 15 to 20 minutes of additional podcast that we call After the Final Pop. That is available at the $5 tier. And at that $5 tier, you will actually gain access to the entire backlog. So even if you just wanted to hop on for a month or two so that you could go through and listen to all of those episodes, there are many, many, many of them, and it's just like probably a good value if you're always in the market for something else to listen to. And then additionally, we have our merch tier at the $25 tier, where each quarter of the year we generate like a new, very special and very limited piece of merchandise that has something to do with the pop.
With the pop.
This quarter for Q1 of 2022, we are making a custom deck of cards through the King's Wild project, which is this like just phenomenal card company that makes such beautiful decks of cards. Like they're like a work of art. Like every time I go to the website, I'm like, I would buy, like I don't even like.
I know.
Yeah,
like,
I don't
when
even.
When do you even use playing cards?
I never,
Right.
not often at all. And so it's like, but then I see them and it's like, it could even be for a brand, for something I've never even like, read or watched that series or been involved with this activity. And I'm still like, that's pretty cool looking.
I want it.
So anyway, we will have a popcorn culturified deck of cards. You will be getting 2 decks of cards and an uncut sheet of that deck of cards if you sign up anytime between now and March 31st. Additionally, at the $10 tier, if you sign up right now, we have a special offer going on where you can just get that uncut sheet of cards as kind of like a cool bonus.
Like a big wall piece of art.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you see all the cards at once. It'd be really cool.
Right. It's a very like unique looking thing.
Yes.
Like how like you just haven't seen an uncut sheet of cards before.
Yeah.
I've been fascinated by this. It's like since the beginning. It was like the number one thing. I was like, if we're doing this, I want the uncut sheets because I want it for my own wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be sure to check that out. It's patreon.com/popcornculture. Otherwise, guys, we appreciate you tuning in, and until next time,
Pop.